coming, well, it's rolling around the bend. And I ain't seen the sunshine since, well, I don't know when. I'm stuck in Folsom Prison, and time keeps dragging on. But that train keeps rolling on down to San Antonio. When I was just a baby, well, my mama told me, son, always be a good boy, don't ever play with guns. But I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. When I hear that whistle blowing, I hang my head and cry. All right, click it. Well, there's probably rich folks eating from a fancy dining car. They're probably drinking coffee and smoking big cigars. Well, I know I had it coming. I know I can't be free. But those people keep a moving, and that's what tortures me. Well, if they freed me from that prison, if that railroad train was mine, I bet I'd move it all a little farther down the line. Far from Folsom Prison, that's where I want to stay. And I'd let that lonesome whistle blow my blues away.
We're going to talk to J.P. Mack from the Cash Returns tribute to Johnny Cash. And I suppose, J.P., when you think about Johnny Cash, you think about that famous prison gig from the 1960s, and it must be about 50 years ago from that gig.
13th of January 1968 was the famous date. It was the album was comprised of two halves. It was like they did a morning session and they did an evening session as well. Most of the album is made up of the second part. It's a great album, like just hearing the warden through the tan noise and everything. You're going to get to hear a bit of the crowd in there as well. Like, it's great atmosphere. It's a great album.
And it was just such an iconic event, wasn't it? It was the first time anything like this had been done. It kind of grabbed the whole world, really, didn't it?
Yeah, at the time it was just unheard of for, especially Johnny Cash. Like, he was a God-fearing kind of man, but they go into a pile of inmates and then to be seen to be giving them a good time, to give them like a concert. I think Columbia at the time as well, his record company, they were a bit miffed at it, but nobody kind of would have seen how well it was going to come across and how popular it was going to end up being. Still, even now, it's one of the top albums out there that just keeps being bought.
So do you remember the first time you became aware of the music of Johnny Cash?
Yeah, it was back home in Strabane. There's a thing called a back-to-back competition. And it was the very first time I got asked to play live music. It's part of it's a pub thing where pubs go off against each other, and you get to pick two songs. But before that weekend, I heard this song on the jukebox in Dicey's, and I asked Hen, the guy who worked behind the bar, I was like, "What's that song?" And he goes, "Oh, it's Johnny Cash, Hurt." And I was like, "That's brilliant! I love that sound." So. Back in the day, this was about 2002, 2003, we didn't have Wi-Fi in the home, so it was straight to the library, printed off the chords, printed off the lyrics, and I just went upstairs and it was the first time I probably found out that I could have that similar kind of baritone range.
Yeah.
And when I was listening and when I sat down with it, I didn't tell anyone because before then, I didn't really know anything. I think Ring of Fire probably was the height of my knowledge in Johnny Cash. So we went to rehearsals, and I threw it out. I had 2 other songs picked, but I asked the people I was along with, would they hear this? So I threw it out there, and everybody kind of looked up, kind of funny. They're going, where did that come out of, you know? So that weekend then we went to we made it to the final at that stage, and I played that song, and it was the reaction that it got. We ended up winning. Our team won that evening, and then people said, you've got to do more of the Johnny Cash stuff. So I learned Ring of Fire after that. Had to, and after that then it was just kind of, it started to spiral. People started to hear about the Johnny Cash guy, which I'm still known as. I've lost all sense of identity now.
But it is scary because you've got the movements, because for Johnny Cash it's not just the voice, there's that unique way that he holds the guitar, isn't it?
There's a couple of things, because I'm not 6'3", I think, and I'm from Tyrone. What you got to do is, I've watched the videos, and he had a certain kind of way. He held his arm behind the guitar, and he usually would have picked it up and down and kind of used it as a gun, would have aimed down the barrel, so to speak. And then he did a lot of head tilting, especially in the 50s. But I think that might have been more to do with barbiturates and the things he was dabbling in at the time, where he would have held it back. And then he had this Arkansas draw where he would lift the lip. So wee things like that. I don't like going into too much. I like to do a point where Johnny Cash meets JP rather than going full as an impersonator. I try to be more, I use the word tribute than an impersonator, you know, because I know I'm not going to look like him. So, but if you do things like that, and you do the head and you lift the guitar, people warm to it, like, you know. And
of course, the ultimate thing must be when his drummer said you were great. Then he gave you this massive tribute, didn't he?
That was weird. It started with, I just recorded 2 songs. I recorded Folsom Prison Blues, and I recorded Hurt with a guy from home, a guy called Peter Doherty. And I just stumbled across it. There was something come up online on Facebook or something about JohnnyCashRadio.com. It was a Tennessee-based radio station, internet station. And I looked through all the DJs, and I seen then that there was Ron Haney plus W.S. Holland. And I was like, I'll just wing them an email, just no chancer, you know. And I just told them a little bit about myself, and I sent an MP3 across, and I got an email instantly from Ron Haney asking could I send over hard copies, picture, and just a bit of general information on myself, which I did. And I thought I was going to get it, maybe a wee bit of a play, and then that was it. Just to goes, here's Cash Returns, but what I got back was they played the 2 songs, and they did like an in-depth, I think it's about 12, 13 minutes. Wow. And then when I heard W.S. Holland say how much that sounded like the proper, like he was listening to the drums because he's a drummer, and because he just thought he wanted to see us play. And I've been talking to him in between, Ron Haney and himself, and looks like, fingers crossed, that we'll be doing something later in the year.
Oh wow. So you haven't been out to America performing yet?
I haven't been out, but there's a bit of talk going on, shall we say, and we're hopefully, fingers crossed, if everything pans out, we can, it'll be great. Because at the end of the day, like this guy sat behind Johnny Cash for 40 odd years, and some of the biggest, like San Quentin, Folsom, some of the, I think, Madison Square Gardens as well, I think, where he folded. Like some stories that man could tell, you know. He's the only one with the left as well, Marshall Grant, and sadly Bob Wooten passed away as well. So he's the only guy left at the minute, like, so it was nice to get that feedback.
So your show, Cash Returns, is doing great business here in both north and south of Ireland, isn't it? Yeah, it started off, it was only meant to be a one-off show. Crumlin Road Jail in Belfast here. I got an email. I didn't know about the Crumb. I thought it was still a function in prison. And I got a phone call saying, look, we've come up with this idea. We think it would work really well. Obviously, the Johnny Cash and the jail thing, like, you know. So nervously, I said, yes, let's do it. Look. Then I found out then that it was a visitor attraction, which kind of took a little, I was relieved, but at the same time a little bit disappointed, shall we say. But it was December 2013, and I found out then that it sold out, and we went and played. Like it actually takes place in where the chapel used to be. After the December gig, we decided to do 2 more in the January, and the 2 dates, they sold out. And then after that, the people that were coming
people were coming from Tyrone down for Mana, and then they were taking this with them and then saying, so we ended up being the news started to get out.
Brilliant.
And it's more north based at the minute, but we've recently done a gig over in Holland. We're going back again now in August, later in the year, for a big festival. And then we're doing bits and pieces in England as well. And so we've got some gigs scheduled for down south as well. So fingers crossed, and hopefully we'll get over the pond, over to America as well, to get a couple of gigs over there too, maybe.
Great stuff. And if there was a fully functioning prison watching this now, would you play a real prison?
There was talk. I'm not going to mention which prison, but there was. I would do it. I'd be nervous. It would probably be more of like I'd say it was the challenge of it, because it must have took some nerve.
Yeah.
I think Cash is, like, he was a God-fearing man, but at the same time there was a real dark side to him, and I think that he played up to it, and I think that's what he got.
He took a risk bringing June Carter on stage as well.
He took
you think those guys hadn't seen a woman for God knows how many years?
I know, I think it was mentioned in the book as well. They were expecting I think the worst they got was a bit of wolf whistle.
Yeah.
But it could have got a lot worse than that, shall we say? I think it was a brave man taking his wife out on stage. But I think she had a gift of the gab as well. She was able for them as well. If she could handle Johnny Cash, she could handle any of them boys.
And of course, your show as well. You do travel with a June Carter, don't you?
We do. Up until recently, January, my sister actually played June Carter, so we had to watch it. It was not very biblical, but then a little family popped up, and they need her more than we need her at the moment. So we did a bit of audition. We got a new girl in, and we auditioned from all over. But it ended up like another girl from Strabane as well, a girl called Kim Crumley, who's doing a brilliant job at the minute. She keeps us right.
And it has to happen because everybody wants to hear Jackson, don't they?
As soon as you walk on the stage, you could be 2 or 3 songs in. Where's June Jackson? You're gonna go, and where in the set list near the end it's going to be. So you're going to have to put up for a bit. But it's just an iconic song. I think it's more to do with it's not a love song, but at the same time there's a lot of to and fro in between the verses. It's a couple at each other's throat, but they're underlying. There's like a real love there as well. It's just that it's a great song, and plus that wee lick as well on the banjo and the guitar as well.
If you had to choose one of his songs, what's your favourite?
There's a song written, performed by Billy Oldham, Bonnie Prince Billy he's called. It's a song called I See a Darkness. And Johnny Cash covered it in the American recording sessions with the time he was working with Rick Rubin. It's one of the songs that probably the lyrics mean a lot to me. But I would say, it depends what kind of mood I'm in as well, but I would say the most important song would have to be Hurt.
Yeah.
From the lyrics and that because the song was written by Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails. It was a song about heroin addiction, but when you see the video when Johnny does it, and a wee interesting fact about that video as well was that there's a shot where Johnny's sitting on the seat, and then June Carter walks in behind him and rests her hands on his shoulders. Mm-hmm. The day before she went to film that shot, she found out she had terminal cancer, but because she knew she was going to be taking the shot, she didn't want to annoy anybody on set or annoy anyone in the family, and kept it to herself. And then 4 months to the day she passed away, Cash passed away as well. So there's a poignancy underlying on that as well. Yes. And that bit with the very end of the video where he brings down the little piano and then he rubs his hand across, gets you right there. It's poignant stuff.
And do you do a thing called Love?
We do that as well, yes. Because we couldn't afford a choir, we'd get June to kind of lead get the crowd going and that. So it's a bit funny that when you play the likes of Crumlin Road Jail, and then that kind of sound, and you get them all to sing, it's brilliant.
Great stuff. Any dates for the diary that we should know about coming up soon?
We've got a big one coming up in the Millennium Forum diary for the 1st of June, and then we've got before that. Then we're in Armagh City Hotel on the 26th of May, and then we have one in Newry at the Canal Court on the 16th as well, the 16th of June. So we're looking forward to those. They should be big nights.
So the very best of luck with those dates, and let's hope you get to America sometime soon as well.
Thank you very much. Hopefully we'll get over. We'll keep you posted.
Thank you.
Well, I taught the weeping willow how to cry, cry, cry. And I showed the clouds how to cover up a clear blue sky. And the tears I cried for that woman are gonna flood you, big river. Well, I'm gonna sit right here until I die. I met her accidentally in St. Paul, Minnesota, and it tore me up every time I heard her draw, southern drawl. Then I heard my dream went back downstream, cavorting in Davenport, and I followed you, big river, when you called. Then you took me to St. Louis, later on down the river. The freighter said she's been here, boy, she's gone, boy, she's gone. Well, I found her trail in Memphis, but she just walked up the bluff. She raised a few eyebrows and she went on down alone. Now won't you batten down my Baton Rouge, River Queen, rolling on. Take that woman on down to New Orleans, New Orleans. Go on, I've had enough, throw my blues down in the Gulf. She loves you, big river, more than me. Well, I caught the weeping willow, I'd cry, cry, cry. And I showed the clouds how to cover up a clear blue sky. And the tears I cry for that woman are gonna flood you, big river. Well, I'm gonna sit right here until I die. I'm a highwayman, living free, running where I wanna be. I will steal your silver, I will steal your gold. Well, I'll even steal your lady's heart. If the truth be told, I'm a highwayman. On the road, in the hills, where rivers ford, I seek my thrills. If you heed my warning and give me what I ask, you can keep your freedom and I'll not put you to task. I'm a highwayman. On the 8th of June, a summer's day, I spied a coach come my way. On the road I waited, just around the bend. I shouted, stand and deliver, or else you'll meet your end. I'm a highwayman. Even when I'm buried, you'll not see me no more. On the coldest, darkest nights, my ghost will stalk your door. I'm a highwayman. Even when I'm buried, you'll not see me no more. On the coldest, darkest nights, my ghost will stalk your door. I'm a highwayman.